Hi guys, welcome back to Balls Fan TV, and today we're back with another video doing the 2026 Bohemians season preview. The league kicks off tonight, but we kick off our season in the Aviva Stadium on Sunday against St. Pat's. I'm sure we're all looking forward to it. Going to be a great occasion. Second season in a row, starting our season in the Aviva. And yeah, it's a big season ahead. Plenty of things to look forward to. Europe, also very significantly being our last season in Dalymount as well. It's going to be an emotional one, but look, um, let's just all hope that we can have a good year. Look. Supposed to touch on last season a little bit. It wasn't all plain sailing. Some good and bad. A bad start, but then picked it up through the middle of the season. Rocky towards the end, but look, we got our main goal in the end, and that was European football. So yeah, that's a really really big thing to look forward to. But for this season anyway, look, I think we're all heading into it fairly confident. I think we've done some really good business. We spoke about it throughout the off season. Some of the signs that we've made. I think we've improved the squad drastically in certain areas, especially the defence. We've really strengthened there. We brought in some really good options. Looking at that defence, we've got two goalkeepers. Casper, who has been really really good for us over the last couple of years. Paul Walters has come in as his understudy to replace James Talbot. Looking at the defence, then Lee Kavanagh, Kane Byrne, Akadina. Jordan Flores, can play left back and play midfield. Patrick Hickey, suppose you can probably consider him a defender, based off pre-season, the fact that he's been playing in the back three, but he can also play, in midfield or even up front if you need a goal, and he can hang around the box and get on the end of things. Sam Todd has come in from Derry, a great signing. Burke has come back from Waterford. Senan Mullins come in on loan from Torino. Dar Power, that right back that we've been crying out for a while now. He's come in from Cheltenham. I think that's a great signing. You look at the midfield there, James McMahon has come back from his loan from Sligo. That was a really good move for him, playing more consistently at another Premier Division club and performing very well. So hopefully, he'll have picked up some really good experience there, and he'll be coming back an even better player. Dawson Devoy, Adam McDonald, Niall Moran, again another kind of versatile player. I think we'd all prefer him to be playing in midfield. And with those defensive additions, I think we will be seeing him playing in midfield more. Harry Vaughan's coming on loan from Hull. A player that has kind of slightly gone under the radar, we think. We think that could prove to be a really, really good bit of business. We've seen players come in from Hull in the Championship into the League of Ireland and perform really well. So who's to say, he can't be another one of those players. Diallo has come in, a really good physical presence in the midfield, kind of replacing what, Keith Buckley was doing for us, just being a really good kind of defensive player. But I think he's got an eye for a good pass, and he's a really good technical player as well. So he gives you a bit of everything. So yeah, I think that's another great sign. And I suppose the forward areas, then you look at it here, Rooney, a player who can play off the left or the right, and what he can deliver. He can put unbelievable balls into the box and can chip in with goals. Ross Tierney, again, another player who makes you realise just how much quality we've got up there. It can play into 10, played on the wing a lot actually last season as well. But I think we'd all can prefer him to be playing as a number 10 again this season. Colin Whelan and James Taylor as our two strikers. Suppose a little bit of concern about them maybe just because of their fitness. James Taylor has another injury at the moment, and he did pick up a few knocks when he came in, but I think that was just due to the fact that he probably wasn't up to speed. Coming in halfway through the season, adapting to the way that we like to train. But let's hope that that injury is not that serious and that he'll be back pretty soon, and then he'll be firing again. Whelan as well, really looking to get some more opportunities. He'll be itching to try and force his way into the team with James Taylor out at the moment. So yeah, I think hopefully he can kick on now this season. You look at the wingers then, Brennan and Parsons. Along with Rooney as well, of course. So maybe a little bit light out there. I suppose the jury is still kind of out on Connor Parsons. Maybe made a bit of an impact in certain games. He came off the bench towards the end of the season and done really well in games. had a great debut in the Aviva last season against Shamrock Rovers, so maybe he just fancies the bigger pitches, so maybe he can play on Sunday and make an impact. Reece Brennan, a player who when your first goal and is a last minute winner on a Dublin derby, the expectations of it will start to grow. You could probably feel a little bit hard done by to not get more minutes. Towards the end of the season, there were games where you were kind of crying out for someone like him to just come on and give us a bit of energy. But he ends up not coming on, and people were asking that question. Why wasn't he given more opportunities? But I think this season, he's got a proper year under his belt. In senior football, training with the first team for a long time, I suspect. So yeah, I think this season hopefully he'll go up that extra level. But yeah, I think the squad is looking really good on paper. I think we're like we've been saying for a few weeks now, the defense has gotten much stronger. I think we're way more confident about how we look back there than we were last season. Perhaps a change in system, that's what people are suggesting. We could go to a back three, perhaps. I think that's something that we did do a few times last season where we were using back three quite often in certain games where we want to change things up a little bit. We could play Rooney as a left wing back. And now that you have Dara Power in the door, he can definitely, play as that right wing back, getting up and down. And we've got enough centre halves to play back three as well. It's just kind of who we choose, I suppose. How are we gonna, what three defenders will Reynolds pick? You could have Kavanagh, Arcadina, Byrne, Todd, Hickey, Mullen. Plenty of options to mull over. So it'll be interesting to see how we set things up on Sunday. I'll probably go more into that when I do my preview for the Pats game tomorrow. But in terms of expectations for the season, what we want, look, I think another year where we're up there challenging for Europe. I think is what we all expect. That's what we all should be looking towards. It's going to be tight again, of course. Now the teams around us, last season have strengthened again. It's not going to be easy. But look, I think you have to look at the squad now and say it's more than capable of being in that top four. So anything outside of a top four finish, I think will probably be seen as a disappointment. I think you'd obviously want to be doing better in the cup as well. Last season, getting knocked out, after only going through one round was really disappointing. I think we need to be looking to go further in the FAI Cup, of course. Europe, that's something that we're all really, really excited about. It's been a long time coming. We haven't been in it since 2021, and we didn't really get to enjoy it that much because of COVID, of course. Obviously those three games in the Aviva were fantastic, but it was kind of overshadowed by the fact that we were all spread out and didn't get to enjoy it as much as we should have. But I think it would be really great to have a game in Europe in Dalymount. I think that would be a really great occasion for its final few months. To have a European game there would be really really exciting and something that we'd all really look forward to. So let's hope that that can happen. But yeah, you look at how well Shels and Shamrock Rovers did. Last year getting into the league phase. Who's to say we can't do that? If we can get a bit of luck with the draws and we can play some teams that we can get past relatively easily, that would do nicely, of course. So yeah, let's just hope we get a bit of luck with the draw for Europe, and we can repeat what Shels and Shamrock Rovers managed to do. We touched on it at the start of the video, of course, but it's the last year in Dalymount as well. It's going to be emotional in certain games. You're thinking to the last derby against Rovers and the last cup game and all that, and those sort of games will start to creep up and make you realise that God, it's really coming to an end, and we won't be in Dalymount anymore as we know it. We've just got to try and enjoy the season as much as we can. That's probably not going to be easy at times. I'm sure there's going to be ups and downs. We all know how much Dalymount means to us, and how it's when it's rocking on a Friday night, there's no better place, and we've just got to try and enjoy this last season we have in Dalymount. Let's hope it's a good one. Let's hope we're competitive on all fronts. And how great would it be? How special would it be to deliver some silverware? In Dalymount's last season, I think that would really just be a perfect way to see out the season. So let's hope we can deliver that. But there's no doubt we need a good start as well. we didn't have that last year, and it probably cost us a more comfortable position in Europe. And when things got nervy towards the end of the season, I don't think that would have happened if we just had a good start. It's not the easiest of starts, of course. A derby, in the Aviva first game of the season, then you go up to Sligo, then we go up to Derry, then we have Rovers and Dalymount, and then I think we got to Waterford. So it's not an easy start, but look, there's no easy games in the league. I think every team has their strengths. We're going to be tested in every game, but we're also, we've also got plenty of quality as well. We shouldn't be fearing anyone. We've built a very strong squad, and we should be fancying our chances going into every game. So a good start would really go a long way, I think, and make things a little bit less nervy. If we are going into the latter stages of the season, and in a few kind of crunch matches, a few real must-win games. We don't have those kind of nerves hanging over us. Like we had towards the end of last season. So yeah, I'm really excited for it all to kick off on Sunday now. I'm sure everyone's really looking forward to it. I think we're in a good place. We've made some really good signings. The squad's looking good. There's plenty to look forward to. Europe last season in Dalymount. Let's make it a good one. Let's make it special. Let's deliver some silverware. It's been too long now. And to do it in Dalymount's final season, would be a real special way to see it off. So let us know what you think in the comments heading into the new season. How are you feeling? Confident? Do you think the squad's in a good shape? Let us know. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, comment down below what your thoughts are, and I will see you for the preview for the Pats game tomorrow. Bye bye.